Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So let's make a video today and answer a question. This is a question from one of our viewers. Style with Chris. That's the name of the person that asked. Here's the question. What would you tell your younger self when it comes to career and relationships? So let me see if I can answer this the best as I can for you. I'm 50 years old. I feel at this point in my life that inside still feel young. I still feel somewhat naive. I still feel like I'm navigating for the first time. I've been through a lot, but life is always bringing me something new. I guess I feel fairly young inside. Some people feel old. I remember when I was 24 and people were making that declaration. They were planting their flag on that hill that they had climbed. I'm old now. I'm 50. I still haven't made that transition in my mind. I still feel like I'm in discovery mode. But hindsight is always 20/20. We look back on our lives and we can find all the flaws and faults and bad choices we made and sit here and say, well, I would have done this better. I would have done that better. I would have avoided this person. I wouldn't have asked that person to marry me. I maybe not have taken that job, or maybe I would have stayed at this job longer, or maybe I wouldn't have moved out of that town. I would have stayed in that town for a little longer. I wouldn't have given up so easily on things. I could do that exercise for when I was 20. I could do that exercise for when I was 36. I could do that exercise for when I was 46. There'll always be ways that you feel like you can edit the past. I mean, I write novels. I've written a few books. I wish that I was good enough of a writer to write one draft and then just kind of move on. But even when I'm in that zone and I'm writing and I'm sitting there typing away and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this is gold. This is the best thing that's ever been written. I'll look back over it on my second edit, on my second pass, and just be like, some things may be good, but I always change stuff. I've never been able to just write a book one shot through. And I don't know if you're ever going to live your life one shot through without finding flaws when you look back on it. We can easily edit any part of our history. So I'm not saying this to avoid your question. I'm just setting a context for it, I guess. The main thing that I would tell myself at any stage of my life in the past, for any younger version of me, because there's lots of younger versions of me. The 20-year-old younger version of me was drastically different than the 25-year-old younger version of me. The 25-year-old younger version of me was totally different than the 30-year-old younger version of me. I think every 5 years we go through a developmental change, and I think that that's natural. I try not to have a lot of regrets on the shit that I went through because it made me who I am, and I'm proud of who I am. Even the bad stuff. So I'm not going to go through a video and tell you, well, when I was 18, I made a bad choice and I went homeless and I regret that and I would have avoided that choice and not gone homeless. So that's my advice, is to, being homeless taught me a lot. I'm not going to change that experience. It traumatized me. It fucked me up. It made me crazy. Not the cool kind of crazy either. The fucked up kind of crazy where you're like, yeah, damn man, that's too bad. And I wouldn't change it. What I would tell myself at any stage of my life, of my development, is to stay disciplined. That's been one of the areas that I've had a hard time with in the past, was discipline, especially with mind, body, and soul. I preach this shit in every video, and there's a reason. It's because it saved my life. It's helped me. This is what helps me be who I am, is this program. Mind, body, and soul, every day, 7 days a week, 365. I'm on top of this shit always. I'm always trying to build myself stronger, to make sure that I'm on top of my mindset, to make a conscious choice to be a positive person, because I'm naturally a negative person. I'm pretty doom and gloom naturally. I can be just as much of a drama queen as any other idiot and be like, oh no. I have to make a conscious choice to not be that way so I don't start making bad decisions. So that would be the gift that I would give any younger version of myself, would be to stay disciplined. So, and if they say, well, why? So you can make better decisions. So whatever it is that you're going to decide to do, it's coming from a place of wisdom that you might be able to be at one with this guide in the universe. There's forces that are within us that help guide us, that we're not necessarily always in touch with, that living a disciplined life will bring out. But there's also external forces that can guide us that we may be too blinded to see because of our own delusions, our own fantasies, our own egos. So, I could give advice and say to my younger self, slow down. Don't be so impulsive, and start picking on flaws that I think that I had, but discipline is the key. Discipline right now is what helps me move forward. I'm not worried about tomorrow. And trust me, not everything in my life is perfect right now. I'm not worried about tomorrow because I have the daily discipline that makes me stronger to move forward into the battlefield like a warrior. So no matter what happens, I can handle it. And I tell myself that as a mantra. I can handle anything that happens, no matter what. I didn't handle things so well when I was younger. I drove myself to addiction because I couldn't handle things very well emotionally. I moved around the country randomly. I've lived all over this goddamn country for no reason at all. Just because I was unhappy with who I was. I fucked up relationship after relationship after relationship. I take ownership of that. It's my fault. I ruined a lot of relationships with people. Not just women in love relationships, but friends. I've fucked up a lot of friendships. Just because of my own issues. And what would have changed all of that for me would have been if I could have, at that point of my life, at any point of my life, been on the disciplined program that I'm on right now today, this morning. Mind, body, and soul. That I would have been a little calmer. Maybe I would have slowed down a little more. I would have had the clarity of mind to be able to say, okay, I'll choose this and not that. I mean, it's hard to play Captain Hindsight because honestly, we often think we're right. Part of that is ego, but part of it is just a natural sense of how we navigate. At any given point in your life, you thought that was best for you. I've looked back and felt so much regret on things, but then I have to remind myself, you dated that chick because you liked her. That's what you thought was best. Other people warned you, hey, bro, she's not all that cool. And I was like, no. So that was what you wanted. You gave yourself what you wanted. One of the things that discipline has taught me is to not pleasure chase. To not always go after the things that you feel like you want, and to go after the things that you know you need. To take life more incrementally. Look down instead of so far out. I know we like to look so far out and be and think that that's how we navigate towards a goal. But you reach a goal incrementally. So daily discipline is the answer. That's what I would tell myself as far as relationships from the past. I could have had better relationships if I would have been a more disciplined person on a daily basis. Been working on myself. Trying to be a better version of myself. I could be further in life right now if I would have gotten on top of this earlier. My relationships right now may be better. I might be more successful in certain areas of my life right now if I would have gotten started on this earlier. With career, business, I've owned many businesses. One of the main elements with entrepreneurs that I've found is discipline. They don't put in the work. They don't put in the time. They may not have the right risk-taking mindset. Being a businessman is a risk taker. You have to be a good gambler. You can't just be the type that goes all in on every hand. You have to know when to do that. You have to understand the game. And if I would have had less anxiety in my personal life, less personal problems, I might have been able to make one of these businesses that I've run more successful. I could have been more disciplined towards making the proper decisions in that business. Just like within life. I mean, it's no different. So that's the advice. I hope some of this makes sense. Thanks for the question, and keep asking them. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching.